different length belt for the alternator. Alternator relocation brackets, different pulley, another bracket, more bolts. Happy days. Also from Pure Motorsport, brand new pulley quality rad. All I've got to do is just swap the fan over from the old rad onto this one. So nice and easy. And an ideal job to do while everything is apart, to do the AC delete kit. Thanks very much to Pure Motorsport for supplying this kit. So a quick test this morning, something I was really intrigued to know. So this is the overall weight of the Pure Motorsport kit. Okay, there's cardboard there, there's a bit of plastic packaging, but you get the gist. So we'll call it literally 1500 grams for that lot. Take a look at the end of the video and you'll see why I'm weighing all of this. But now it's time to get this lot fitted to the car. So here we are, it's finally time to start fitting the Pure Motorsport kit and the new radiator to the trusty Clio 172. So it's basically going to be a case of taking the bumper off. I believe I have to take this headlight out, obviously take the radiator off to drain it and swap it, and there will be quite a lot of the piping and other ancillaries to take off, such as the alternator and obviously some of the Aircon kit as well. So yeah, fair bit to do. I'm basically going to try and film as much as possible. There will be some time-lapse bits because it'll be fairly boring if you just sit here and watch me unbolting stuff for hours on end. So the idea behind some of the upgrades that I'm doing here, this belt, the alternator belt, is fairly knackered, to be honest. It's probably about 5-6 years old, so that will be being replaced anyway. Also the tensioner for it, which I may just be able to see under there, also pretty knackered. That's the Aircon pump, so all of that is being removed. I'll get a new alternator pulley. In fact, just get a light on that. See, there's actually a bit of damage on that. You can just see that part of the pulley is knackered, so that's literally news to me. Another good reason for doing this job. Then obviously it'd be a case of removing this condenser here, and also, don't know if you can quite see it, I'm trying to get the camera under there. The actual radiator at the bottom is starting to sag quite badly, so yeah, really it's preventative maintenance. It's kind of a case of when rather than if with some of these components failing, so at least that'll give it a bit of a new lease of life on that front. First thing I'm going to do is just remove the slam panel. Then it'll be this headlight. I'm guessing this crash structure has to come off, but fortunately there are some really good instructions on the Pure Motorsport website, so if I get stuck I'll just look at that. wonder really that this aircon wasn't very effective. Looking at the condenser cooler on the front here, it was just peppered with holes, so yeah, hardly surprising. And then yeah, you've got the fixings here for the radiator to mount to it, and they're pretty knitted, so yeah, all in all, probably caught it all at quite a good time, to be honest. So what you probably can't see is out there, it's an absolute scorch of a day. It's, we're having a little mini heat wave here at the moment in the UK, and as you can see, over 30 degrees inside here. Only a little bit cooler out there as well, I think, so yeah, it's pretty bonkers. But yeah, those of you who are living in Europe and have only ever been to the UK when it's raining, we do occasionally have days where it's mind-blowingly hot like this. Okay, so next up I have, well, those didn't need unbolting in the end, as you can see. So those runners for this piping, taking that pipe off, there's a, try and get out of the way of the light slightly, there's a connector there for a temperature sensor, there's another connector on there, and there's another connector for the actual fan. Taking all them off, and to be honest, I think this condenser is more or less ready to pull out. It'll probably be bound by some of this piping, but that should be easy enough to overcome, as I think I'm just going to bend it or snap it off now that the system is drained. Okay, next up, with these pipes all loosened, it's just a case of routing them. So next up, we've got these pipes to take off, which I'm hoping, there we go. Another good reason for replacing this aircon unit for the Pure Motorsport kit, which completely eliminates all of this. Don't know if you can quite see, but the radiator itself at the bottom, it's kind of sagging. Just looking at these mountings for the radiator fan, having seen how the way these mountings have gone, that the aircon condenser was actually mounted on the front half of it, doesn't give me a lot of confidence in the way these have come off at the back. Definitely else I use the right size socket. Wow, okay, that was a lot better than expected. As you can see, it's literally on its way out, but it's come free, so that's okay. At least the plastic is in good nick. You can just use that again and find a couple of new fixings, and then hopefully, I think it should be the last one. Yeah, that's gone okay. So if you kind of just tuned into, well, this episode, then wondering what I'm doing, then I'm just taking the radiator off and taking the fan unit off the radiator. The plan is the radiator is getting completely swapped over for a brand new one, because as you can see, this one is pretty knackered. I'm also replacing all of the aircon system, deleting it all basically with a Pure Motorsport kit, which I've done once before on a friend's car, on a track day car, so quite similar. So yeah, hoping that this continues to go in a fairly straightforward manner. And then if you've not tuned into this series before, then basically it's a case of this car's been in storage for quite a few years. Done some track days on it last year, then COVID struck, so it's basically sat in a barn, so it is a little bit worse for wear. But having used it, you'll have seen me take it out of storage the first couple of episodes, and I've actually been using it on the road a couple of times. It's driving really nicely. I've just given it some TLC, but now it's time for some proper maintenance and a bit of servicing, so that's where you join me now. Okay, there is our fan unit. Looks to be in pretty good condition, so very happy with that. All the fixings are complete, so I can simply bolt that straight onto the new radiator, all being well. Right, so I'm sure we've got plenty of people watching this who have done, like me, loads of radiator changes, loads of coolant drops before, and as you know, it's never a clean job. So watch me probably make a hash of this now. Just stacking off the bottom hose. I'm gonna definitely replace this clip when I get a chance, but I'm going to get well out of the way. Hopefully the camera doesn't get absolutely soaked. Coolant coming out of there. Not making too much of a mess. Take a little while to drain out, 'cause it's only coming out slowly, but I'm in no rush, so that's good. And another thing I'll do is take the top cap off, free up any kind of airlock. There you go. There's a little bit just going on the floor there, but other than that, fairly happy actually by how easy that's drained. So I'm pretty much going to go and make a cup of tea now, let it drain before I take off the radiator itself. As coolant system drops go, that was actually quite a painless one. Let's see if we can. I'm taking the top hose off now, so actually should literally lift this clear. So looking at it now, you can really see how much of a sag there was in the bottom. There's now loads more room to play with getting the aircon pump off, getting the alternator out so that I can relocate that, because essentially the alternator is lowered, it's completely relocated, which is one of the big benefits of this kit. So in the meantime, I'll have a quick look round and make sure there's nothing else that needs servicing or replacing now that I've got much better access in the engine bay. Another legacy of being kept in a shed is we have a lot of leaves. Just taking this cover off to get to the aircon unit. Incredible, it must be something nasty in here. Okay, so some small updates. I've been working on this the last couple of evenings after work, putting in a few shifts. So yeah, getting a bit done. So new electrical connector, got all of the pulleys off now. So basically it's time to basically put everything back on. So we've got the power steering pump assembly here. I think the pulley will actually have to come off to fit the belt, looking ahead slightly. The water pump pulley, the water pump has been replaced fairly recently. The pulley's looking a bit knackered, so I may look to get a lightweight pulley again from Pure Motorsport in the near future, but for now it looks fine. I've checked for play and everything. So one of the other pieces of the jigsaw was just to take the old alternator pulley off. I actually had to clamp it in a vise to get it off, to be honest, because it was mega seized on there. In the end, just used the nut gun to get it off. So now it's a case of putting this lightweight Pure Motorsport pulley on there, which I'll be doing next, and refitting all of these brackets, which I obviously showed you before. Right, so as you can see, I've reverted to taking the offside headlamp off. That's just to give more access to the power steering pump and the pulley, because the pulley's got to come off to feed the belt through. I did try without, no chance. So at least it means I can get a better view of everything down here before it all goes back together. So that's cool, no worries there. But it's slowly starting to come together, so pleased with that. Right, so next up it's a case of fitting the old fan unit onto the new radiator. So I've unbolted the unit, and now we can swap it over. So I'll just use some new bolts because the old fittings were fairly knackered, and that is a straight swap. So I'll fit that onto the rad, put the rad on the car, and continue putting all that back together. Meanwhile, over here, all of the brackets and everything is on. The belt is done, it's tensioned up. The wiring loom is back on with my little repair. Hopefully that lasts. So yeah, it's just a case of rebuilding all of that. Bumper back on, headlamp on, filling it with water, and giving it a test. Okay, so as you can see, the new radiator is now fitted, piping's back on, fan unit's on, and it's ready for some water. So all in all, pretty pleased. Aircon delete kit's in, the new rad's on, so that's looking good. It's run up a couple of times, just been bleeding the radiator, so that seems all okay. Yeah, I think we're good to go. So those of you who watched from the start will remember that I weighed the Pure Motorsport brackets, and they weighed about 1500 grams. So now I'm going to weigh all the bits that came off, so the aircon, radiator, all the pulleys, the brackets, the old belt, everything like that, just to see exactly what the weight reduction has been. Okay, so just ignore the box, as I ignored some of the packaging when I weighed the new brackets, but that is actually even better than I thought. So there you go, we have saved around about 12 kilograms with that new kit, so really happy with that. Plus obviously there's the load on the engine, which can't really be determined, as I didn't roll and road it before and after, but yeah, very happy with that.